Revelations by Edward Snowden that the US is spying online is proving good news for Chinese tech companies. This is Asia Today. I'm Jate Lee, and I'm joined by Wei Gu, editor of Chinese Wealth for the Wall Street Journal. Wei, Snowden's made news around the world, gripped us for a couple of weeks now, but it's having especially interesting effects in China, right?
Yeah, it's been good news for some small companies in China. They are internet security companies because people believe that there will be more spending going into government and big companies because, now Americans are going to attack the Chinese internet.
Sure. I mean, they haven't exactly received this news very well. It's come as quite a surprise, right? That Facebook, Google, Apple are all doing this?
I think there are two kinds of views in China towards foreign companies. One group was like American companies are usually more independent and less likely to succumb to this kind of pressure from their own government. So it's been a bit of surprising and disappointment for them. And on the other group, there is always the conspiracy theory that it should be no surprise that all these companies, no matter they're American or Chinese, all do that for their own government. So this is going to make the latter group, the voice is getting louder. So see, now you have evidence.
Sure. Talk to us about how heavy the surveillance is in China at the moment. It seems like there's heavy surveillance, people don't like it, but they're sort of willing to sort of put up with it in China. What's the sort of situation now?
Yeah, well, surveillance and monitoring is already a pretty big business in China. So the government spending on domestic security is actually already more than what they spend on defense. But still, I believe there is lots of room to grow because if you look at individual companies or even Chinese government, you realize that they spend awfully little on technology. So you often get a card from a Chinese government official and actually listing his Gmail address. And often when, for example, when Lenovo bought IBM, they were using IBM email address for a couple of years. And people were saying, oh, for them to get their emails accessed in Hong Kong, and then when they go into China to access it, somehow there are problems. So overall, they do need to spend more on internet security and technology. So this is heightened awareness can only help the spending, helping those companies.
Talk us through one or two companies in China that might be particularly benefiting from this sort of current environment?
Yeah, there are a few companies. Well, there's one called Venus Tech, and it's a Beijing-based company. It was founded by a returnee from University of Pennsylvania. So she's got a doctor's degree, and she's got all these government awards for being, a pioneer in this category. So they have got some good technology. The revenue growth has been quite robust, at 50% year on year. The problem is also slightly expensive. It's 50 times. It's actually quite common. All these companies are trading at 40 times, 50 times of forecast PE. So it's not cheap. But looking at the potential, you could see that there is still genuine spending going to benefit them.
That's high even for China. Final thing, I guess this must be good news for the Chinese government. It takes some of the edge off their sort of spying and snooping activities if the US is doing it, right?
Absolutely. I'm sure the Chinese government love to hear that. They have stressed that China has been a victim. Now it's kind of, there is evidence that Chinese computers are being hacked. So it's probably going to make them even less willing to open the Chinese market for foreign companies like Facebook, which is currently blocked in China. So for them, the potential of ever getting into being allowed to access China's 500 million consumers online, those are just people online, looks just as distant as ever.
Huge market to be blocked out of. Wei Gu, editor of Chinese Wealth for the Wall Street Journal, thank you so much for joining. That's it for Asia Today. I'm Jate Lee, but for more on this story and many more, please go to WSJ.com.